Napatan ang 20 katao sa isang hit-and-run attack sa China.
Alamin kung nahuli ang suspect sa likod ng krimeng ito mula sa mga detalye ng balitang ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi, ako po si Rikki Mathay.
Ako si Rikki Alagao Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong Martes ng gabi.
Bagyong Rikki nakalabas na ng Philippine Area of Responsibility. Bagyong Ophel nakapasok na at lalong lumalakas.
Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. tiwala na mananatiling matatag ang relasyon ng Pilipinas at Estados Unidos sa ilalim ng Trump administration.
Estados Unidos nagpalipad ng Intercontinental Ballistic Missile.
San Jose de Mulatos Volcano sa Colombia pumutok.
At ating alamin ang 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifier roster ng Gilas Pilipinas. Nakalabas na po ang Bagyong Rikki sa Philippine Area of Responsibility habang naging severe tropical storm na ang Bagyong Ophel. Ayon po yan sa Pag-asa.
Ayon sa datos ng State Weather Bureau, bandang alas 4 ng hapon, namataan ang mata ng Bagyong Rikki sa 365 kilometers kanluran ng Calayan, Cagayan. Gumagalaw ito sa direksyon pahilagang kanluran sa bilis na 15 kilometers per hour na may lakas na 85 kilometers per hour at bugsong 105 kilometers per hour. Samantala, namataan naman ang mata ng Bagyong Ophel sa 780 kilometers silangan ng Virac, Catanduanes. Gumagalaw naman si Ophel sa direksyong pahilagang kanluran sa bilis na 30 kilometers per hour at may maximum sustained winds na 90 kilometers per hour at gustiness na 115 kilometers per hour. Sa kasalukuyan, hindi pa nagtataas ng tropical cyclone wind signal ang Pag-asa sa ibang bahagi ng bansa. Ayon sa forecast ng Pag-asa, inaasahang maglalandfall ang Bagyong Ophel sa silangang baybayin ng Cagayan o kaya ng Isabela sa araw ng Huwebes. Malaki rin ang posibilidad na maging typhoon ang Bagyong Ophel sa araw ng bukas. Hindi na nagulat si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa pag-alma ng China sa dalawang ipinasang bagong batas para sa West Philippine Sea o WPS.
That's not unexpected, but we have to define closely. Marami tayong sinasabi that we have to protect our sovereign rights and our sovereignty. So it serves a purpose that we define closely what those boundaries are, and that's what we are doing.
Mariing kinondena ng China ang Philippine Maritime Zones Act at ang Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act o law kung saan ay inaakusahan ng Beijing na magpapalala pa ang mga ito sa tensyon sa pinag-aagawang teritoryo sa WPS. Sa kabila nito ay iginigiit ng Pangulo na kailangang ipagpatuloy na maingatan ang soberanya at sovereign rights ng Pilipinas. Anya ang dalawang batas ay tumutukoy sa boundaries o teritoryong sakop ng Pilipinas. Dati nang tinawag ng Chinese Foreign Ministry na illegal at invalid ang umano'y tangkang pang-whitewash ng Pilipinas sa claims nito sa WPS. Matatandaan ding pinatawag ng Chinese Foreign Ministry ang ambassador ng Pilipinas sa China para magpaliwanag ukol sa issue.
Malaki ang tiwala ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na hindi magbabago ang relasyon sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos matapos manalo si US President-elect Donald Trump sa 2024 presidential elections.
I don't think it will change. I don't think so.
Ito ang sagot ng Pangulo matapos tanungin ukol sa magiging ugnayan ng Pilipinas sa US sa ilalim ng Trump administration. Saad pa ng Pangulong umaasa ito magkakaroon ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas ng pagkakataong makatrabaho si Trump lalo na sa pagtugon na mahahalagang issue na matagal nang itinataguyod ng samahan ng Pilipinas at Estados Unidos. Anya, ikinukonsidera ng Pilipinas ang US bilang oldest treaty partner nito partikular na sa usaping militar. Taong 1951 ang nilagdaan ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos ang Mutual Defense Treaty para maprotektahan ng bawat isa ang kanilang mga teritoryo laban sa anumang armadong pag-atake.
Hindi nagpatinag si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte dahil kahit kanselado ng Quadcom hearing ay pupunta pa rito ng alas 10 ng umaga sa Kamara bukas. Kinumpirma mismo ni Attorney Salvador Panelo, isa sa mga legal counsels ni dating Pangulong Duterte, na kukumprontahin ng dating Pangulo ang mga miyembro ng Quadcom kung bakit pagkatapos nilang i-demand ang presensya ni Duterte at ngayong tinanggap naman ng dating Pangulo ang kanilang imbitasyon ay ikakansela ng Quadcom ang hearing na wala man lamang paunang abiso. Sa panayam ng programang Saganang Mamamayan kay Attorney Panelo, sinabi nitong hindi nakarating sa kampo ni Duterte na kanselado ang pagdinig. Ang pagdinig na isinasagawa ng Quadcom ay ukol sa issue ng war on drugs ng Administrasyong Duterte. Ayon kay Attorney Panelo, naduwag ang mga kongresista sa pagharap sa dating Pangulo kaya't kinansela ang Quadcom hearing. Hihilingin din ang kampo ng dating Pangulo na magkaroon ng marathon hearing na 10 araw.
Sige, punta na ako. Tapos biglang kinancel ninyo. Wala man kayong notisya. Ang sabi ng Congress, nagpadala raw sila. Pero kailan nyo pinadala? Pinadala nyo kanino? At kaninong address? Hindi niya alam eh. Sabi ko, hindi naman sira ulo niya. Pupunta rito na wala naman palang pupuntahan. Kaya, sabi ni Presidente Duterte sa akin, punta tayo bukas, kahit walang hearing. Gusto kong malaman bakit kayo nag-cancel. At saka, gawin na natin. Nandito na ako. Gawin na natin 10 days. Marathon hearing. Di na ako alis dito. Para sabihin natin sa kanila, ako ready. Ako nandito. Pinapunta niyo ako. Nasaan kayo? At saka, kung wala kayo, gawin niyo natin 10 araw. Sige, para hindi na ako. Magasadong magasto, sabi.
Samantala, pinadala ng Philippine Air Force ang kailang pinakamodernong helicopters at close air support aircrafts amphibious landing exercise sa Palawan. Ito ay bilang bahagi ng AFP military exercise dagit pa mula Nobyembre 4 hanggang 15. Ayon kay Air Force spokesperson Colonel Maria Consuelo Castillo, 2 A-29 Super Tucano at 2 S-70I Black Hawk helicopters ang dineploy nila sa drills. Lumahok ang mga ito sa exercises na nagpapakita ng tactical air support capabilities ng Air Force.
Inaresto ng Philippine National Police ang 4 na high-value suspects at winasak ang isang drug den sa Para&ntilde City nitong Lunes ng gabi. Ayon sa ulat ng National Capital Region Police Office, na-recover mula sa mga suspect ang tinatansyang 205 o 225 grams ng shabu na nagkakahalaga ng humigit kumulang 1.53 million pesos. Nakuha rin sa operasyon ng isang 9mm na baril na may magazine at mga bala. Kasalukuyang nasa District Drug Enforcement Unit ng Southern Police District ang mga suspect.
At kasunod ng patuloy na pagtaas ng kaso ng severe dengue sa Pilipinas, may konting good news po dahil itinaas ng PhilHealth ang benefit package sa naturang sakit mula 16,000 pesos hanggang 47,000 pesos na ngayon. Bahagi ito ng patuloy na benefit rationalization ng PhilHealth para bigyan ng sapat na financial risk protection ang mga Pilipinong naghihirapan sa sakit. Una nang itinaas ng PhilHealth ang benefit package para sa dengue na mayroon o walang warning signs mula 10,000 piso hanggang 13,000 piso. Batay naman sa tala ng Department of Health, noong October 4, 2024, mayroong 269,467 dengue cases sa buong Pilipinas, kung saan naabot na National Capital Region ang alert level dahil sa 24,232 na naitalang dengue cases.
Payo ng Eco Waste Coalition sa mga magulang at sa mga bata, huwag bumili ng nauusong laruan ngayon na may kasamang disposable syringe. Ayon Ayon sa mga environmental groups, binebenta ng mga toy wholesalers sa Binondo ang mga squishy chicken toys na may syringe na halagang 150 pesos kada pack ng 20 items. Mabibili naman ito ng 10 pisos sa mga tindahan. Sinabi ng grupo na mapanganib ang laruan lalo na kung nilalaro ito ng walang adult supervision at dahil may syringe ito, pwedeng matusok ang bata o makatusok ng mata o balat ng kalaro. Wala rin itong label o impormasyon ng chemical composition o warning ng potential health risks na dapat inilalagay ayon sa Republic Act No. 10620 o ang Toy and Game Safety Labeling Act.
Susunod, Mutual Defense Treaty ng North Korea at Russia na ratify na.
US naglunsad ng airstrike sa Syria.
At Trump at Prabowo ng Indonesia nagkausap na sa telepono. Mga detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik na Mata ng Agila International.
Why choose?
Alam namin ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ang magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka na mangamba. Sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Mailalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa New Era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Ang opisina ni South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol na siya'y dadalo sa Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation o APEC Summit sa Peru at sa G20 Summit sa Brazil naman na magaganap sa mga susunod na araw. Sa kanyang pagdalo sa mga naturang okasyon ay inaasahan ng kanyang gobyerno na magsasagawa ito ng bilateral talks kasama ang mga kapwa-lider nito sa Asia na sina Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba at Chinese President Xi Jinping. Dagdag pa ng isang mataas na opisyal ng Seoul na posibleng maglunsad din ito ng trilateral talks kasama si Ishiba at outgoing US President Joe Biden. Nakatakda ring maglunsad ng isang official visit siyon kay President Dina Boluarte ng Peru bago umalis papuntang Brazil. Sa ngayon ay tinatrabaho pa ng kanyang gabinete na makipag-usap din ito sa pinuno ng Vietnam at Mexico sa kabila ng mga magaganap na conference.
Niratify na po ng North Korea at Russia ang isang mutual defense treaty na nagtatakdang tulungan ang isa't isa sakaling magkaroon ng pag-atake sa kanilang mga teritoryo. Pinirmahan ni na North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at Russian President Vladimir Putin ang panukala para sa treaty noong Hunyo 19. At nitong Nobyembre 11 naman ay na-ratify na ito ng North Korea na sumunod lamang sa pag-ratify rin ng Russia nitong Nobyembre 9. Inanunsyo ito sa gitna ng mga batikos ukol sa lumalakas na ugnayang militar sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa. Bago pa man ito na-ratify, nauna nang nagpadala ang North Korea ng libo-libong mga sundalo sa Russia upang tumulong sa digmaan nito laban sa Ukraine.
Nanawagan si Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu na kontrahin ng Russia at China ang anumang tangka ng Estados Unidos na i-contain ang kanilang mga bansa. Sinabi ito ni Shoigu kay Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi sa kanyang pagbisita sa Beijing. Ilang beses nang nagbanta si US President-elect Donald Trump na magpapataw ng mataas na taripa sa China bago pa ang pagkapanalo niya sa eleksyon. Matagal na rin niyang pinaplano ang pagtatapos ng digmaan sa Ukraine na ang resulta ay posibleng hindi maging pabor sa Russia. Kaya't hinihikayat ni Shoigu na palakasin lalo ang relasyon at kooperasyon ng Russia at China upang mapigilan ang posibleng pangingialam ng Estados Unidos.
Itinanggi ng Kremlin na tinawagan umano ni Russian President Vladimir Putin si US President-elect Donald Trump. Ayon kay Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov na walang katotohanan ang nasabing mga balita at ni minsan ay hindi nagkausap ang dalawa. Binatikos pa nito ni Peskov ang balita kung saan sinabi nitong pawang katang-isip lamang ang naganap na pag-uusap ng dalawang world leaders. Tumanggi naman magkomento si Peskov ukol sa mga pribadong tawag ng President-elect ang mga tao sa kampo ni Trump. Lumabas kasi ang ulat na tinawagan ni Trump si Putin at pinantaan ito ang patuloy na kaguluhan sa Ukraine. Magugunit ang nagbitiw ng pahayag si Trump sa kanyang kampanya na sa isang iglap lamang ay kanyang patitigilin ang giyera sa pagitan ng Ukraine at ng Russia.
Это наиболее наглядный пример качества той информации, которая сейчас публикуется, иногда даже в достаточно уважаемых изданиях. Это полностью не соответствует действительности. Это чистая...
Samantala, opisyal ng partner state ng Brazil, Russia, India, China at South Africa o BRICS ang Belarus. Inumpirma ng Belarusian Foreign Ministry na sumulat si President Alexander Lukashenko kay Russian President Vladimir Putin upang sabihin na handa na itong sumali sa BRICS bilang state partner. Mahalaga ang ginagawang pagsulat ni Lukashenko o ang ginawang pagsulat ni Lukashenko kay Putin dahil ito ay isang hakbang na pinagkasunduan ng member states upang maging partner state ng BRICS ang isang bansa. Ang BRICS bloc, ayon sa mga eksperto, ay sinasabing katunggali ng Group of Seven. Una itong binuo ng Brazil, Russia, India at China noong taong 2009. Naging miyembro naman ng South Africa taong 2011. Sa kasalukuyan ay opisyal na rin kasama sa BRICS ang Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia at the United Arab Emirates. Naniniwala ang ilang geopolitical analysts na darating ang panahon na magiging mas maimpluwensya ang BRICS nations kung ikukumpara sa G7, Commonwealth of Nations at NATO.
Tiniyak naman ng France at the United Kingdom na hindi magbabago ang kanilang suporta sa Ukraine. Sa ginawang pagbisita ni British Prime Minister Keir Starmer kay French President Emmanuel Macron, ay tinalakay nila ang patuloy na suporta sa Ukraine. Ayon po sa dalawang leaders na hanggang hindi tumitigil ang Russia sa ginagawa nitong pag-atake sa Ukraine, ay ipagpapatuloy pa rin nila ang suporta. Kamakailan lamang ay nagtungo si Starmer sa European Political Community Summit sa Budapest upang bigyan ng kasiguruhan si Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky na hindi mawawala ang suporta nito para sa giyera ng kanyang bansa laban sa Russia. Ang nasabing pahayag nila ay kasunod ng sinabi ni Trump na kaya niyang tapusin ang giyera sa Ukraine at Russia sa loob ng isang araw.
I've just come from a meeting with President Zelensky and that's my sixth time of meeting him since I've been Prime Minister, sixth time I've had to sit down with him and discuss the situation. It was an opportunity for me to repeat and affirm our ironclad support of Ukraine. And the broader point here in Hungary at this meeting has been that this isn't just about the sovereignty of Ukraine, although of course it is about that. It's also about our freedom, our democracy and our values, and that's why it was very important for me today to have that further conversation with President Zelensky and reiterate just how ironclad the UK support is for Ukraine.
Nanawagan si UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres sa mga lider ng mundo na magbigay ng sapat na pondo upang maiwasan ang mga humanitarian disasters na dulot ng climate change.
The sound you hear is the ticking clock. We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And time is not on our side. In our global economy, supply chain shocks raise costs everywhere. Decimated harvests push up food prices everywhere. Destroyed homes increase insurance premiums everywhere. And this is a story of avoidable injustice. The rich cause the problem, the poor pay the highest price.
Sinabi ito ni Guterres sa pagdiriwang ng COP29 Summit nitong Martes sa Baku, Azerbaijan. Nakatuon ngayon ang kumperensya sa paglikom ng bilyon-bilyong dolyar para sa global transition patungo sa clean energy at pagpigil sa pinsalang dulot ng carbon emissions. Ngunit hindi personal na narinig ng mga pangunahing lider ng mundo mensahe ni Guterres, kabilang si US President Joe Biden at President-elect Donald Trump na naghahanda pa sa paparating na bagong gobyerno. At pati na rin sina Chinese President Xi Jinping at Ursula von der Leyen na absent din dahil sa ibang political issues.
Nilagdaan ng Transitional Council sa Haiti ang isang decree na nagtatanggal kay Interim Prime Minister Gary Coney sa posisyon itong linggo. Papalitan siya ni Ali Didier Fils-Aime, isang negosyanteng dating naging presidente ng Haitian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Itinuturing itong malaking pagsubok sa pagtatangka ng United Nations at Estados Unidos na maibalik ang kaayusan sa Haiti matapos tumuto si Coney sa pagkakatanggal sa kanya. Kasama na rin ang pagbanta ng pinakamalakas na warlord sa bansa ng isang pinatinding karahasan laban sa pamahalaan.
Naglungsad ng strikes ang United States military sa 2 lokasyon sa Syria na tumatarget sa 9 na personalidad na mayroon umanong kaugnayan sa Iranian groups na umatake sa mga military personnel ng Amerika. Sa isang pahayag ay sinabi ng Estados Unidos na ang kanilang isinagawang strikes ay para mapabagal ang mga maaaring plano ng mga Iranian-backed groups na umatake sa US at ilang mga puwersang parte ng kanilang koalisyon. Nagpadala naman ang halos nasa 900 military personnel ang US sa Syria para rumesponde sa mga tropang kasalukuyang nagsasagawa ng mga operasyon kontra sa mga Islamic State militants.
I think there is certain progress. Working on the issue. We are working with the Americans on the issue. There is progress, and we will be ready to be there if we will know, first of all, that Hezbollah is not on our border, is north and to the Litani River, and that Hezbollah will not be able to arm again with new weapon systems and so on that will come from Syria, from the sea, from the airport, anyway.
Samantala, iniulat naman ni Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar na nakausad na ang kanilang mga pag-uusap ukol sa isang ganap na ceasefire sa gitna nila ng Lebanon. Patuloy naman sinusubukang hikayati ng mga namamagitang bansa na tuluyan ng mapagkasunduan ng Lebanon, Israel at Gaza ang tigil putukan basta't mapigilan ng Hezbollah na magpasok ng armas mula sa Syria papasok ng Lebanon. Sa kabila ng pag-atras ng Qatar sa pagiging main negotiator ng nasabing ceasefire deal, ay sinabi naman ni Sa'ar na magiging susi ang pakikilahok ng Russia na may malaking presensya sa Damascus sa nasabing ceasefire talks.
I would say, I don't want to enter specifically to these efforts, but I would say that it is important that the principle that Hezbollah won't be able to arm again or to get new weapon systems, to take them into Lebanon and to renew the threat to the extent it was before this war. It is vital to the success of any arrangement in Lebanon. And the Russians are, as you know, present in Syria, and if they are agree with this principle, I think they can contribute to achieve effectively this objective. And if this objective will be achieved, then we can believe that this arrangement can be implemented more effectively.
Sa Riyadh, nagbabala ang Secretary General ng Arab League na malapit nang i-freeze ang United Nations membership ng Israel. Anya, masasaksihan ito sa pamamagitan ng isang botohan. JC Yumulpo para sa report.
Humarap sa media si Arab League Secretary General Ahmad Abul Gheit matapos dumalo ng isang Arab at Islamic Summit ukol sa sitwasyon sa Gaza at Lebanon. Ang summit ay sinagawa ng mga leader ng OIC, Arab League at Saudi Foreign Minister. Ayon kay Gheit, maraming miyembro ng United Nations ang sumusuporta sa pag-freeze ng membership ng Israel. Aniya, ito ay maglalagay sa mga bagay sa tamang lugar.
أثق أن هناك الكثير من الدول سوف تؤيد فكرة تجميد العضوية وهذا التجميد ليس بخاضع لرؤية مجلس الأمن، بمعنى مجلس الأمن هو السلطة الرئيسية في السماح بتجميد بطرد أو الانضمام، لكن لا أحد يتحدث عن الطرد أو عن الانضمام. الحديث يدور حول التجميد، وبالتالي ربما نشهد وقريبا تجميد للعضوية بقرار من الجمعية العامة بأغلبية، وبالتالي دي خطوة تضع الأمور في نصابها.
Samantala, ayon naman kay Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan, marami sa international community ang sumasang-ayon sa two-state solution para sa Palestine.
To be quite honest, the two-state solution was dying a slow death, and with the conflict in Gaza and the activities of Israel in the West Bank, that death was accelerating. But what we now see is that there is a significant consensus of the international community, a majority of countries, of the members of the United Nations, a significant number of the largest countries actually in the world that stand very firmly behind a two-state solution. And this is a reformation that had been lacking. So I think in that context, that is significant progress. I think there is significant progress given what we saw of several countries recognizing the state of Palestine and others now seriously considering that recognition, including some very, very important countries.
Noong Oktubre, nanawagan si bin Farhan ng agarang ceasefire noong Global Alliance meeting sa Riyadh. Ito ay upang itulak ang two-state solution para sa Israel-Palestinian conflict. Ang giyera sa Gaza ay naging mitsa ng mas malawak na kaguluhan sa gitnang silangan. Ito ay nang bombahin ng Israel ang Lebanon at nagpadala ng puwersa sa katimugang bahagi nito upang paralisahin ang Iran-backed Hezbollah na kalyado ng Hamas. JC Yumul para sa mata ng Agila International, Trusted Connected, on point.
Sa isang airport sa Guatemala, lumapag ang dalawang eroplanong naglalaman ng 374 na migrante. Ayon sa immigration authorities ng bansa, karamihan sa mga ito ay galing sa border ng US at Mexico. Alamin natin ang mga detalye mula kay Rosel Feria.
na-detain ang deportees habang tinatangkang tumawid papasok ng Estados Unidos mula Mexico. Pinroseso ang mga ito ng Guatemalan Migration Institute na siya ring umasiste sa pagbabalik sa kanila sa pinanggalingang mga komunidad. Habang nag-aabang ng rehistro, nagpahayag ang mga migrante ng pag-asa na bigyan sila ni President-elect Donald Trump ng pansamantalang work visa upang makapasok sa US.
Quiero instarlos a que pues cambien las políticas que tienen, que ayuden a los migrantes, porque casi el 80% somos latinos y somos los que que somos los que trabajamos y los que luchamos para que las grandes empresas crezcan más. Y pues gracias a los latinos, los gringos, como decimos acá, los estadounidenses, pues tienen sus empresas y nosotros como latinos somos los que más chambeamos, somos los más aguantadores.
Taon-taon, libo-libong Latin American migrants ang pumasok ng irregular sa Mexico at nagtatangkang makatungtong sa US hanap ang mas mabuting kondisyon ng pamumuhay. Rosel Feria para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Katulad ng maraming bansang nag-e-export papuntang Estados Unidos, kabilang po ang Canada, sa naghahanda kung paano nila tutugunan ang banta ng karagdagang taripa sa kanila mga produkto. Matatandaang nangako si US President-elect Donald Trump na papatawan niya ng karagdagang taripa ang mga inaangkat na produkto papasok sa Estados Unidos. Alamin naman natin ngayon mula kay NAT25 correspondent Cherry Recolizado kung ano na ba ang mga hakbang na balak gawin ng Canada upang makaiwas sa impact ng Trump tariffs.
Naihalal muli sa ikalawang termino bilang Pangulo ng Estados Unidos si President-elect Donald Trump. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito para sa ekonomiya ng Canada? Ayon sa report ng Canadian Chamber of Commerce na nailathala noong nakaraang buwan, kung may papatupad ni President-elect Trump ang 10% tariff hike na ipinangako niya sa kanyang kampanya, mahigit $30 bilyong ang dagdag na magagastos ng Canada sa kalakalan. Kapag tumaas ang tariff, tataas rin ang presyo ng bilihin, lalo na ang mga imported na produkto mula sa Estados Unidos. Sabi ng CEO ng Canadian Chamber of Commerce na si Candice Lane, kailangan makipagtulungan ang gobyerno ng Canada sa Trump administration nang maiwasan ang tuluyang pagtaas ng tariff at patibayin pa ang supply chains. Nagkakahalaga ng $3.6 bilyong araw-araw ang kalakalan ng Estados Unidos at Canada na nagpapakita lamang ng napakalapit na koneksyong pang-ekonomiya ng dalawang bansa. Cherry Recolizado, Toronto, Ontario, para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Sa isang tawag sa telepono, binati ni Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto si Donald Trump sa pagkapanalo nito sa eleksyon matapos dumating ni Prabowo sa Washington, D.C. Nasa Estados Unidos ngayon si President Prabowo para sa isang opisyal na pagbisita sa bansa. Sa phone call na pag-usapan ng dalawang lider ang pagkakaroon ng personal na pagpupulong bagamat hindi pa ito kinukumpirma ng opisina ni Prabowo.
Fine, thank you. I would like to congratulate you on your election as President of the United States of America. I would like...
thank you so much.
If possible, I would like to call personally on you. Wherever you are, I'm willing to fly to congratulate you personally, sir.
Nabanggit din ni Prabowo ang tungkol sa pagtatangkang pagpatay kay Trump at nagpahayag ng galak sa kaligtasan niya.
And of course, we were all shocked when they tried to assassinate you, but we are very happy that the Almighty protected you, sir.
Yes, I got very lucky. I just happened to be in the right place in the right direction. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I got quite lucky, actually.
Patuloy pong naglalagay si US President Donald Trump ng mga napipisil niyang tauhan para sa mga pangunahing posisyon sa kanyang administrasyon. Bilang immigration na ang isa sa kanyang binigyan diin noong kampanya, sinasabing napili na ni Trump ang mangunguna sa border security ng Estados Unidos. Narito pong report ni Anna Quinn.
Ayon sa mga report, napili na ni President-elect Donald Trump ang mauupo sa pangunahing mga posisyon sa kanyang napipintong administrasyon. Binibigyang diin ng kanyang mga napili ang pagpapahalaga nito sa immigration. Batay sa isang post sa X, si Stephen Miller ang napili bilang White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Si Miller ay dating White House Senior Advisor for Policy noong 2017 to 2021 Trump presidency. Siya ang puwersa sa likod ng matinding pagtutok at paghihigpit ni Trump sa immigration. Kasama sa mga ipinatupad noon ay ang pagpapatayo ng US-Mexico border wall na humarang sa mga tao mula sa ilang Muslim-majority nations. Gayun din ang 2018 border policy na naghiwalay sa libo-libong migrant families. Kinumpirma rin ni Trump sa social media na si Tom Homan ang mamumuno sa seguridad ng border. Ayon sa border czar, uunahin niya ang pagdi-report ng illegal immigrants na nagbabanta sa seguridad pampubliko at pambansa. Dagdag ni Homan, magkakaroon ng crackdown sa employers na tumatanggap ng immigrants na walang legal status. Sinabi ni Vice President-elect JD na sa ilalim ng panibagong administrasyon, may 1 milyong tao kada taon ang maaaring mapaalis sa bansa. Aque para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Nagsagawa ang United States military ng isang intercontinental ballistic missile o ICBM fire test. Ayon sa Air Force Global Strike Command o AFGSC, isang unarmed Minuteman III ICBM ang pinakawala ng US. Nanggaling ang missile na ito sa Vandenberg at nag-re-entry sa Ronald Reagan Ballistic Missile Defense Test Site na nasa Marshall Islands, southeast ng Japan. Paliwanag ng AFGSC, pinakita lamang ng test launch na ito naligtas, maaasahan at epektibo ang nuclear deterrent capability ng Estados Unidos. Susunod, San Jose de Mulatos Volcano sa Colombia, pumutok.
Gilas Pilipinas, inilabas na ang roster para sa 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifier.
At BINI nanalo ng Best Asia Act sa 2024 MTV Europe Music Awards. Iba pang detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Papalapit na naman ang weekend, ang ibig sabihin, it's again a new episode of Corina Interviews. O ito na, mayroon kaming national artist. The one and only Mr. Rikki Lee. Isa pelikula natin ang buhay ni Rikki Lee, tiyak blockbuster sa takilya. 5 taon lang siya nang maulila ng kanyang nanay, naging layas mula Camarines Norte hanggang nakulong nung martial law. Na-torture pa rin ba daw siya? Pero namayagpag pa rin ang husay sa pagsusulat. The Making of a National Artist, Rikki Lee. Dito lang yan, Corina Interview 6 p.m. ngayong linggo sa Net 25.
Together sa Net 25.
Pumutok ang San Jose de Mulatos Volcano, isang mud volcano na matatagpuan sa Gulf of Urabá sa Caribbean coast ng Colombia. Nag-deploy na ang National Government and Disaster Response Team sa lugar para ilikas ang mga residente. Sinabi naman ni Colombian President Gustavo Petro na sa kasalukuyan ay nagsasagawa sila ng assessments sa naging pinsala ng pagputok ng bulkan sa nasabing lugar. Ayon sa Geological Service of Colombia, ang bansa ay may 20 active volcanoes kung saan bihira lamang mag-alburuto at pumutok ang mga ito.
Ayon sa mga opisyal ng Estados Unidos, hindi nakatulong ang pag-ulan upang bumagal ang pagkalat ng apoy sa border ng New Jersey at ng New York. Narito ang report ni Lezery Gumarang.
Dahil sa malakas na hangin, patuloy na lumalaki ang Jennings Creek Fire. Ayon sa local police, ikinamatay na ito ng isang 18-year-old employee ng New York State Parks Department. Ang sunog ay may 30 milyang layo northwest ng New York City. Naabonan nito ang may 2,023 hektarya na lupain. Ayon sa mga opisyal, 20% lamang ng sunog na naagapan. Samantala, dahil sa pag-ulan, nagkaroon ng panahon magpahinga kahit saglit ang mga bombero. Subalit ayon sa New Jersey Assistant Division Fire Warden, hindi nakatulong ang pag-ulan sa pagpukaw ng apoy.
Even though we got that precipitation, all it merely did was slow down the fire's progression. Due to the extreme drought and dry conditions we were having,
Ikinababahala rin ng mga bombero ang inaasahang paglakas ng hangin sa mga darating na araw. At dahil sa mas mababang kahalumigmigan, ang mahabang tuyong klima ay dapat din bantayan.
the conditions that we're experiencing right now, per the National Weather Service keeping records, it was the longest dry stretch for significant rain. I think it was like something about 40-something days. But going back to records of 1865 is showing how this is the driest stretch we've had since that record keeping has begun. We normally do have we normally have 2 fire seasons in New Jersey. They normally occur between March 15th, not the calendar date, but about mid-March to mid-May is our spring season, which is normally extremely active. We do have a historical record of April 20th, 1963 was one of the worst days in forest fire history where much of New Jersey was on fire. We're not mirroring that yet, but the conditions are about there.
Lezery Gumarang para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Patay ang nasa 10 katao. Ito po ay matapos manggulo at mamaril ang mga lalaki sa Querétaro, Mexico. Ayon sa mga otoridad ay 4 na lalaki ang bigla na lamang pumasok sa isang lugar at namaril ng mga inosenteng sibilyan. 7 lalaki at 3 mga babae ang nasawi sa insidente. Dagdag pa rito ang 7 sugatan na kaagad namang dinala sa pinakamalapit na ospital. Iniimbestigahan na rin ngayon ang isang sasakyang natagpuan sa lugar na maaaring ginamit umano ng suspect. Samantala, umabot na sa 2,788 ang bilang ng pagpatay sa Mexico na nagsimulang tumaas noong October 2024.
Samantala, sugatan naman ang 20 katao matapos masagasaan ng isang 62 anyos na lalaki sa gitna ng Zhuhai Air Show sa China. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, nag-eehersisyo lamang ang mga biktima ng humarurot at bundulin ang mga ito sa labas ng Zhuhai Sports Stadium. Kabilang sa mga biktima ay mga matatanda at mga kabataan. Makikita sa video mga nakahandusay ng mga biktima habang binibigyan ng mga ito ng paunang lunas ng mga paramedics. Agad ding naisugod ang mga biktima sa pinakamalapit na pagamutan. Naaresto naman ng mga otoridad ang sospek sa insidente. Inaalam naman ng mga otoridad kung may kinalaman ng insidente sa isinagawang air show kung saan ang venue ay nasa 40 kilometro ang layo mula sa pinangyarihan ng insidente. Ang Zhuhai Air Show ay isang mahalagang event sa China kung saan ay dito itinatampok ng Beijing ang kanilang military at civil aircrafts. Inaasahan ding dadalo si top Russian official Sergei Shoigu sa naturang event.
Sugatan ng 5 katao sa Dominican Republic. Ito po ay matapos mahulog ang isang kotse mula sa second floor parking lot ng isang mall. Ayon sa lokal na ulat, nawala ng kontrol ang driver sa sasakyan kung kaya't dumiretso ito sa loob ng mall at bumangga sa glass barrier ng palapag. Makikita po sa video ang ilang sandaling pagbagsak na sasakyan mula sa second floor. Mapapansin ding kaagad na nakaiwas ang mga taong nakatayo sa ground floor bago bumagsak ang sasakyan. Nakaligtas naman ang driver ng kotse at kasalukuyan nagpapagaling na sa ospital.
Napilitang mag-emergency landing sa Dominican Republic ang Spirit Airlines Flight 951 matapos tamaan ng bala habang palapag ito sa Toussaint Louverture International Airport sa Haiti. Ayon sa tagapagsalita ng Airlines, tinamaan mismo ang eroplano matapos itong dumaan sa Circlin, isang lugar sa Haiti na kilala sa gang violence. Pinaniniwala ang nanggaling ang bala sa lugar. Tinamaan naman ang bala ang isang flight attendant ng eroplano, pero tiniyak ng Airlines na walang pasahero ang nasaktan. Agad na sinuspinde ng National Airport Authority ang lahat ng commercial flights patungo sa Toussaint Louverture International Airport. Habang kanselado na rin ang lahat ng flights at JetBlue at American Airlines patungo sa Port-au-Prince dahil sa insidente.
Dinimanda ng FTX ang Binance at dating CEO nito na si Changpeng Zhao. Nais ng FTX na ma-recover ang $1.76 billion na ibinigay ng management nito sa Binance at kay Changpeng. Anila, ito raw ay isang fraudulent transfer kaya nararapat lamang na ibalik ito ni Changpeng at ng Binance. Paliwanag pa ng plaintiffs habang isinasaayos ang isang business deal sa pagitan ng FTX at ng Binance noong taong 2021 ay insolvent ang Alameda Research Division ng FTX. At dahil wala itong pondo, hindi dapat natuloy ang transaksyon ng dalawang crypto companies. Sagot naman ng isang tagapagsalita ng Binance, walang merit ang mga alegasyon ng FTX at handa rin anya ang Binance na depensahan ang sarili nito sa harap ng korte. Wala namang inilabas sa pahayag si Changpeng. Nagpadala muli ang China ng panibagong grupo ng remote sensing satellites sa kalawakan. Ayon sa ulat ng Chinese state media na Xinhua News Agency, naging matagumpay ang launching ng 4 na PISAT-2 satellites sa Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. Layo na naturang satellite na magsilbi ng commercial remote sensing data services mula sa space. Pinadala sa low Earth orbit ang mga satellites gamit ang Long March 2C carrier rocket. Ito na po ang ika-544th flight mission ng Long March carrier rocket series. Noong March 2023 nang inilunsad ng China ang naunang disenyo ng naturang satellite na Hongtu-1.
Nananatiling undefeated ang Cleveland Cavaliers matapos talunin ang kalabang Chicago Bulls sa score na 119-113. Habang no chat, no problem naman ang lahat sa Oklahoma City matapos buhati ni Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ang kanyang koponan laban sa Los Angeles Clippers 134-128. Si Vin Pascua para sa balita.
It's grabbed by Mobley. Second chance for the Cavs. Mitchell cuts. Mitchell twists. Oh, and a circus shot by Donovan Mitchell. Now you see me.
Naibulsa na ng Cavs ang 12-0 na record ngayong season. Ito na ang pinakamagandang starting record ng Cleveland sa loob ng halos isang dekada. Muling pinangunahan ng guard na si Donovan Mitchell ang Cleveland at nagpasok ng 36 points. Panibagong double-double performance din ang ginawa ng forward na si Evan Mobley na may 15 points at 11 rebounds. Hindi naging madali sa Cavs na patumbahin ng Bulls dahil na rin sa magandang opensa ng huli sa pangunguna ng forward na si Zach LaVine na kumamada ng 26 points. Tig 20 points din ang ipinasok ni Kobe White at Nikola Vucevic sa pagkatalo ng Bulls. Kung ibabase sa opensa, malayong mas maganda ang performance ng Bulls matapos mapanatili ng kupunan ang 49.4 overall shooting percentage kumpara sa 44.3 ng Cavs. Sa tres naman, nagawa rin ng Bulls na panatilihin ang 36.8% habang 33.3% lamang sa Cavs. Ang Cavs ang ikawalong team sa NBA history na nagtala ng 12-0 sa pagsisimula ng season.
Circuit shot by Donovan Mitchell. Just making him work for everything. Making it work, and my goodness, SGA in the
Binigyan ni Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ang home crowd ng isang monster 45-point game laban sa Los Angeles Clippers nang may 15 of 16 free throws at isang season-high tying 9 assists. Inangklahan naman niya ito ng depensa na 5 steals at 2 blocks. Garahe si 7'1" Holmgren nang mula 8 weeks dahil sa isang pelvic fracture. Bumakas si Jalen Williams ng 28 points, 8 assists at 6 rebounds. May 19 points pa si Lou Dort at tig 12 naman si Isaiah Joe at Alex Caruso. Binuli ng Thunder si Clippers center Ivica Zubac, ngunit nagapos pa rin siya ng may team-high 22 points, 14 rebounds at 3 blocks. Pero buong 48 minutes na tumakbo ang OKC na igapang ang panalo hanggang huling segundo. Umiskor ng 31 si Norman Powell sa Los Angeles pero fouled out. Naka 20 points din si Derrick Jones Jr. Pinigil din ng 5 fouls si James Harden na nagtala ng 17 points, 11 rebounds at 9 assists pero 5 of 15 lang sa floor. Para sa Balitang Sports, Vin Pascua para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
AI daw. Nilabas na po ng Gilas Pilipinas ang 15 manlalaro nito na sasabak para sa 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers sa darating na November 21 at 25. Pinangunahan ito ni Junmar Fajardo, Ange Guame, Jamie Malonzo, Chris Newsome, Japet Aguilar, Mason Amos, Justin Brownlee, AJ Edu, Calvin Oftana, CJ Perez, Kevin Cambao, Dwight Ramos, Kai Soto, Carl Tamayo at Scotty Thompson. Sinabi naman ni Coach Tim Cone na maaaring mayroong mabago pa depende anya sa pagsisimula ng kanilang training camp. Magugunita ang unang makakaharap ng Gilas ang New Zealand sa November 21 habang susundan ito ng Hong Kong sa darating na November 24.
Another big win! Yan ay matapos makuha ng P-pop girl group na BINI ang Best Asia Act sa 2024 MTV Europe Music Awards. Masayang ibinahagi ng grupo sa kanilang social media account ang pagkapanalo laban sa iba't ibang artists na naging nominado para sa award. Dagdag pa nila, ito ay isang malaking karangalan na mabigyang pansin ng mga kantang Pinoy sa buong mundo. Kinilala ngayon ito bilang kauna-unahang Pilipino na tumanggap ng parangal para sa kategorya ng Best Asia Act. Kabilang sa mga bigating artists na nanalo sa event ay sina Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Lisa Ariana Grande at Tyla. Samantala, matatandaan na nitong mga nakaraang buwan ay nanalo rin sila ng Voices of Asia Award na mula naman sa Billboard K-Power 100.
At inaabangan na po ng mga fans ang paglulunsad ng Beyoncé course ng Yale University para sa susunod na taon. Tatawagin ang kursong Beyoncé Makes History, Black Radical Tradition, Culture, Theory, and Politics through Music. Ito ay isang one-credit class na nakabatay sa naging karera ni Beyoncé mula sa kanyang 2013 album at Cowboy Carter album. Ayon sa profesor ng Yale University na si Daphne Brooks, gagamitin nila ang ilan sa mga natatanging live singing performances ni Beyoncé. Kinikilala po ang singer na isa sa pinaka-maimpluwensyang artist sa kasaysayan ng musika kung saan ay nakatanggap siya ng 79 na nominasyon sa Grammys. Samantala, bukod kay Beyoncé ay may kurso rin para sa mga singers na kagaya ni Bob Dylan at Taylor Swift kung saan tampok ang kanilang mga awitin.
Nakatakdang ibenta ang iconic Aga Khan Emerald sa halagang $8 milyong sa susunod na linggo sa Geneva. Ayon sa Christie Auction ay binubuo ang Aga Khan Emerald ng rare na 37 carats ng emerald. Nagmula ang naturang emerald sa Colombia na isa sa pinakamagaling na nagmimina ng emerald sa buong mundo. Kasama pa rito ang isang diamond brooch na iniregalo naman ni Prince Aga Khan sa kanyang asawa na si Nina Dyer noong 1960. Dagdag pa nila, ilang taon na nila itong hinahanap at nitong March 2024 lamang ay isang kolektor ang nagbenta sa kanilang auction. Samantala, kabilang pa sa mga items na isusubasta ay ang Maharaja necklace na kilala bilang transformable jewel at Cartier diamond necklace. Nakakasilaw ang kinang at ganda.
Kailangan naka-sunglasses.
Oo.
Pero napakaganda naman talaga. Investment din yan, di ba? Diba? May kanta nga, di ba si James Bond dati? Diamonds are forever.
Girls. Ayun ba?
Diamonds are forever.
musical yata yung sa akin.
Hindi ko naman dalawa naman yung James Bond movies. Pero di ganun din, Diamonds are girls' best friend. Tapos Diamonds are forever.
Kasi ang ganda.
Ayan. So, tignan naman natin kung ano naman ang hatid na balita ni Alma Angeles dahil narito na po siya. Subalit tandaan, mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, narito kami ni Nina para maghatid ng balita sa amang dako ng mundo. Muli, ako po si Rikki Mathay.
Ako si Nina Rikki Alagao Flores, itong mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga balitang nangyari sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman po tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Rikki. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for Net25 World News. On tonight's headlines. Tensions are rising in the South China Sea tonight after China pushed back against Philippines' new maritime laws.
What we see is an increasing demand by Beijing for us to concede our sovereign rights.
So it serves a purpose that we define closely what those boundaries are, and that's what we are doing. All right, thank you.
A disturbing incident tonight after several U.S. airlines have made the decision to suspend flights to Haiti after a serious event involving a Spirit Airlines flight. And tonight, the new administration is starting to take shape and some of its top picks are raising questions. In Thailand, the Iglesia Ni Cristo recently held its Care for Humanity event at the Rayong Child Welfare Protection Center.
We have chosen Rayong Child Welfare Protection Center as the beneficiary of our Care for Humanity for this year 20 and 24. And with God's help, we're able to hand them boxes of various dry goods for cooking, instant noodles, snacks, as well as cleaning materials.
And the news starts now. Tensions are rising in the South China Sea tonight after China pushed back against Philippines' new maritime laws. Take a look. Tensions are rising in the South China Sea after China pushed back against new Philippine maritime laws, setting up another showdown over disputed waters. Just days after President Marcos signed new laws defining his country's maritime boundaries, China is firing back.
菲律宾在这个南海进行挑衅性的侵权活动，极大的危害了地区的和平和稳定。菲律宾选择在这个时间节点上公布2个法案，并且美国随后又对这些法案发表声明，表示支持，这就使地区局势又增添了新的不稳定的因素。
The dispute centers on 2 laws signed by President Marcos last Friday, measures that spell out the Philippines' maritime rights and establish designated sea lanes.
It's not unexpected, but we have to define closely. Marami tayong sinasabi that we have to protect our sovereign rights and our sovereignty. So it serves a purpose that we define closely what those boundaries are, and that's what we are doing. All right, thank you.
The laws aim to protect Philippine waters, marine resources, and the livelihoods of Filipino fishermen. But China claims nearly all of the South China Sea as its own territory, despite a 2016 international court ruling against those claims. The U.S., a longtime Philippine ally, continues to back Manila's position and the international court ruling. Meanwhile, in Canberra today, Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro delivered his strongest warning yet about China's pressure tactics in the disputed waters.
What we see is an increasing demand by Beijing for us to concede our sovereign rights in the area because of our need to explore and exploit the resources in these areas for the benefit of our own people. And that is clear. We don't need to enter into a geopolitical nexus for determining the root cause of the problem because we are direct victims of Chinese aggression in this and in a concentrated area thus far, in the West Philippine Sea.
Comments came during Teodoro's fifth meeting with his Australian counterpart since last August, highlighting growing security ties between the two Pacific nations.
We want to lay the foundation of principled cooperation between the two of our countries. Given the fact that we live in the same part of the world, we have an interest in ensuring peace and stability here, and the only framework we can operate on is on the basis of the UN Charter and international law, and to resist any unilateral attempts of redefining it to the selfish interest of any one state.
The talks included plans to strengthen military cooperation and intelligence sharing.
We also agreed to share further intelligence information on counterterrorism and on other mutually on security threats that we feel affect our countries, both our countries.
Meanwhile, Teodoro addressed concerns about potential changes in American policy.
I really don't expect some sort of a statement from Mr. Trump. Hopefully not. I really don't have any preconditions or any assumptions as to what will be the outcome of his administration, except on what we are working on institutional ties this time. On the fact that we have an interest, both the United States and the Philippines, in ensuring that our partnership continue because not totally, but principally because of shared threats. And that is undoubtedly the overreach and the aggressive and illegal activities of China. And if that changes, then maybe the calculus changes. Thank you.
According to recent analysis from top global economic institutions, the Philippines is grappling with a prolonged recovery from the economic disruptions caused by the pandemic. While neighboring Southeast Asian nations are advancing more rapidly, the Philippines continues to face substantial obstacles in regaining its pre-pandemic economic footing. The Philippine economy's path to recovery remains challenging, and think tanks paint a picture of an economy still trying to find its footing. The Philippines' output remains at 10% below pre-pandemic levels, while other ASEAN nations are only 6-7% behind. That gap is raising concerns. The latest GDP numbers tell the story. Growth slowed to 5.2% in the third quarter, falling short of expectations. Analysts point to weak exports as a key challenge, with major trading partners facing their own struggles. The external sector remains the largest pain point for the economy, and we expect little relief in the coming quarters. But there are signs of hope. The central bank is expected to cut interest rates significantly over the coming months, and the government plans increased spending in 2025. Monetary policy easing will support private consumption and investment growth, with potential bright spots emerging when global demand picks up. The government's proposed budget of over 6 trillion pesos for 2025 aims to stimulate growth, though it will widen the deficit. Analysts now forecast the Philippine economy to grow by 5.8% this year, before potentially reaching 6% in 2025. Turning now to the war in Ukraine, where Russia's military efforts are escalating with an influx of foreign troops. Russia has reportedly assembled a 50,000-strong force, including around 10,000 soldiers from North Korea, aiming to launch an assault on Ukrainian positions in the contested Kursk region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier warned of North Korea's involvement, while also criticizing China for its lack of response to this development.
Окремо ми знаємо, що ведеться домовленість щодо постачання інженерних військ, а також цивільних людей, великої кількості цивільних від Північної Кореї, для того, щоб вони працювали на тих чи інших військових заводах Російської Федерації. Я здивований мовчанням Китаю, скажу вам відверто. Я не скажу, що Китай на нашому боці, але те, що він один з гарантерів безпеки в вашому регіоні, принаймні так ми вважали. А зараз це мовчання. Це
According to the New York Times, North Korean troops are being deployed to help Russia regain territory lost to Ukraine forces in August. While Ukraine initially made progress in the Kursk and Belgorod regions, Russian forces have since pushed back and continue to make gains in the east. A Ukrainian commander told CNN that North Korean soldiers are directly involved in combat, with specialists such as artillerymen and snipers among them. As air raid sirens sounded across Ukraine, including in Kiev, Russia launched a series of bombings. Ukraine's emergency services report that these attacks caused significant damage to residential buildings, with fires breaking out and extensive destruction reported.
Все спали, ночь 1:30 это было. Я врезал. Ну что можно сказать? Все, что больше ничего такого нету. Сразу все, что двери поотлетали, вы же видите, что идет. То там на кровать прямо дверь вылетела, легла. Вот. Жену травмировала, это самое. Она сейчас с сотрясением лежит в больнице. Вот а внук ваш в больнице? Да, тот тоже, я говорю, в реанимации был, его сейчас оперировали. Вот, у него черепно-мозговая травма.
The presence of North Korean troops in Ukraine is escalating tensions, marking the first instance of a third country deploying soldiers on Ukrainian soil. South Korea has responded by planning to send a military delegation to Ukraine to gather intelligence on North Korean troop movements. Meanwhile, NATO members are increasingly concerned that allies of President Putin, particularly North Korea and potentially China, may become more actively involved as the conflict continues.
China, North Korea, Russia, and of course Iran. And this is more and more a threat not only to the European part of NATO, but also to the United States, because Russia is delivering the latest technology into North Korea in return for North Korean help with the war against Ukraine. And it is a threat not only to the European part of NATO, but also to the US mainland. And that means that in the Pacific and the Euro-Atlantic, but particularly also within NATO, US, Canada, and the European part of NATO, we have to work together. So I look forward to sit down with Donald Trump to discuss how we can face these threats collectively.
For now, Europe watches closely as new global alliances may be forming on the battlefield. A disturbing incident tonight after several U.S. airlines have made the decision to suspend flights to Haiti after a serious event involving a Spirit Airlines flight.
Diverted and landed safely in the neighboring Dominican Republic. The airline said the plane was damaged and taken out of service upon landing. Photographs showed it punctured with bullet holes. No passengers were injured, but there are reports that an attendant was grazed by a bullet. Spirit said the passengers on Monday's flight will be taken back to Fort Lauderdale on another plane. It will also suspend all flights to Port-au-Prince. The U.S. Embassy said all flights in and out of the city's airport are now stopped due to gang-led efforts to block travel, including violence and disruptions to roads and airports. Airlines including JetBlue say they will cancel all services there running through Thursday and will watch to see if more cancellations are needed. Armed gangs in Haiti's capital have shot at planes recently as security worsens. Last month, a UN helicopter was hit by gunfire over Port-au-Prince.
Haiti's political crisis is deepening tonight with yet another leadership shakeup in a country already battling gang violence and widespread hunger. In a nation where stability has become a distant memory, Haiti faces another political upheaval. Just 6 months after taking office, interim Prime Minister Gary Conil has been fired, and his replacement, a businessman who owns a chain of dry cleaners. Replacing him is UN-backed civil servant Alex Didier Filsame, a former Chamber of Commerce president, and in what analysts are calling a political coup.
La transparence et la bonne gouvernance.
Transparency and good governance in the management of public affairs will be a priority for my government. We will work towards social cohesion, a necessary condition for the restoration of the state and the holding of inclusive, transparent and democratic elections. Only this will grant the state legitimate and constitutional authority.
D'autorité constitutionnelle et légitime. Le pays connaît des moments.
The country is going through extremely difficult times, and as I said earlier at the Villa de Coy, one alone cannot solve this country's problem, and I don't intend to do it alone. All the nation's vital forces must work together.
De ce pays, et je n'ai pas l'ambition de le faire seul. C'est ensemble, toutes les forces vives de la nation.
This move comes in a country with no elected officials. Haiti's last president was assassinated in 2021, and no elections have been held since. The numbers paint a grim picture. Gangs control 85% of the capital, Port-au-Prince, and more than 700,000 Haitians have fled their homes. Half the population faces severe hunger. The ousted prime minister said this is an illegal maneuver that further weakens Haiti and seriously compromises our chances of overcoming this crisis. Critics say only Parliament has the legal authority to remove a prime minister, but Haiti hasn't had a functioning parliament in years. Experts are warning this latest political turmoil could trigger even more instability in a nation already on the brink. And tonight, the new administration is starting to take shape, and some of his top picks are raising questions. Take a look. For UN Ambassador, Trump has selected New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, a 40-year-old who may lack extensive foreign policy experience, but has gained Trump's loyalty with her strong support.
This is an overwhelming win on the debate stage, but most importantly, President Trump is focused on not only winning this November, but bringing success to the American people, returning to the effective policies that we saw under President Trump's first term, securing the border, unleashing American energy independence, standing up for hardworking families who have been crushed by Joe Biden's inflation from the trillions of dollars of reckless spending.
Trump chose Congresswoman Elise Stefanik as the next ambassador. Any reaction from the Secretary General? And did you notice that Stefanik, when Trump withdrew the United States from the Paris Accord, she actually criticized the president and said that shouldn't have done that?
Look, it's not for us to react. Member states will appoint, leaders of member states will appoint their representatives, and we will work constructively with the permanent representative of the United States, just like we do with every other country.
Some see hope in Stefanik's past criticism of Trump's Paris Agreement withdrawal. The UN spokesperson remained diplomatic.
I mean, does it look like it's a good signal, that at least on the climate change issue, this new ambassador is kind of sensitive to the issue?
I will leave the interpretation of smoke signals or any other signals to the journalists.
The political impact of Stefanik's move to the UN is also up for debate. Some Trump advisors are concerned about her absence from Congress. Even Elon Musk took to social media to voice concerns about her departure. Meanwhile, Trump announced another key appointment on his Truth Social platform, selecting former acting ICE Director Tom Homan
to oversee U.S. borders as his new border czar. Trump described Homan as the best candidate for the job, with responsibility for border security, including the southern and northern borders, as well as maritime and aviation security. In a statement, Trump praised Homan's background, saying he'll be responsible for securing the borders and deporting illegal migrants. And for the EPA, Trump has chosen former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin. Known for his loyalty to Trump, Zeldin is promising to roll back current regulations and ramp up domestic energy productions. Critics are already voicing concerns over his environmental track record, but Zeldin's agenda is clear.
We should reverse the state's ban on the safe extraction of natural gas and approve new pipeline applications.
Finally, Trump confirmed that Mike Pompeo and Nikki Haley, the two figures from his last administration, won't be joining this time around. Pompeo's delayed endorsement in the primaries didn't sit well with Trump, and his relationship with Haley has been tense since past campaign clashes.
A dramatic surge in Americans relocating or exploring life abroad is showing up in the data tonight. Take a look.
Google search trends reveal staggering numbers. Searches for a move to New Zealand shot up by nearly 2,000% in just 24 hours. Interest in relocating to Canada jumped more than 1,200%, while Australia-related searches climbed over 800%. The impact is tangible. New Zealand's immigration website logged a remarkable 25,000 American visitors in a single day. That's up from just 1,500 visitors the same time last year, a 17-fold increase. This wave of interest isn't limited to everyday citizens. Hollywood figures are part of the trend. Cher recalled almost getting an ulcer during the previous administration. Sharon Stone has reportedly explored properties in Italy, while Game of Thrones star Sophie Turner has hinted at returning to the UK. Actor America Ferrera and late-night host Jimmy Kimmel have also voiced their thoughts about potential moves abroad. Immigration experts note that while these numbers are striking, there's historically a gap between online searches and actual relocations.
President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris honored U.S. military veterans in their first joint appearance since Harris lost Democrats' presidential bid to Republican Donald Trump in last week's election. Now, Biden laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery alongside Harris in a solemn ceremony as the national anthem and taps echoed through the grounds on a bright autumn morning. Take a look.
This is the last time I will stand here at Arlington as Commander-in-Chief. It's been the greatest honor of my life to lead you, to serve you, to care for you, to defend you, just as you defended us, generation after generation after generation.
And the news continues. Zero Net 25. We'll be right back.
Papalapit na naman ang weekend. Ang ibig sabihin, it's again a new episode of Corina Interviews. O ito na, mayroon kaming national artist. The one and only Mr. Rikki Lee. Isa pelikula natin ang buhay ni Rikki Lee, tiyak blockbuster sa takilya. 5 taon lang siya nang maulila ng kanyang nanay, naging layas mula Camarines Norte hanggang nakulong nung martial law. Na-torture pa rin ba daw siya? Pero namayagpag pa rin ang husay sa pagsusulat. The Making of a National Artist, Rikki Lee. Dito lang yan, Corina Interview 6 p.m. ngayong linggo sa Net 25.
Together sa Net 25.
In other news tonight, Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba is pledging big changes for his party after winning a runoff vote in parliament to keep his role on Monday. Now, Ishiba called this snap election just over a month into office after an October vote where the Liberal Democratic Party and its partner, Komeito, fell short of a majority. And now, Ishiba is leading a minority government facing challenges on several fronts: protectionist policies from U.S. President Trump, and growing tensions with China and North Korea, and rising pressure at home to address the soaring cost of living.
Japan's newly re-elected Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru is promising reforms and a renewed focus on the people.
今般の実に厳しい選挙の結果を受けまして、我々自由民主党は今度こそあるべき国民政党として生まれ変わらなければならないと考えております。国民お一人お一人が何に苦しみ、何に悲しみ、何に勝っておられるかと、それを我がこととして受け止められる。
Unveiling his new cabinet, Ishiba told reporters that a party task force is set to draft a political reform plan aimed at winning back public confidence. Ishiba has committed to tackling political reform, including changes to the political funds control law, with the goal of passing new measures by the end of the year. He is also encouraging party members to collaborate with lawmakers across the aisle to better serve the public. On the economic front, Ishiba's administration is preparing new measures aimed at boosting wages to keep pace with rising living costs. Ishiba also highlighted plans to strengthen Japan's ties with the United States, expressing eagerness to meet with President-elect Donald Trump soon.
合衆国の次期大統領でありますトランプ氏とも先週電話で会談をし、お祝いの気持ちをお伝えしたところであります。現在の極めて良好な日米関係を維持し、これを新たな高みに引き上げていくために、なるべく早いタイミングで直接会談する機会を持ちたいと考えておるところでございます。それは合衆国には合衆国の国益があり、日本国に日本国の国益があるわけですが、それが正面からぶつかってもどうにもならないということだと思っております。それが相乗的にお互いの利益に資するものであり、アジア太平洋地域の平和と安定に資するものだということを我々としてどれだけ提案するかということなのであって。
And New Zealand issued a national apology to the victims and families of hundreds of thousands of young people and vulnerable adults who endured physical and sexual abuse in the institutional care over the past 70 years.
Today I'm apologising on behalf of the government to everyone who suffered abuse, harm and neglect while in state care. Today make this apology to all survivors on behalf of my own and previous governments. You deserved so much better, and I am deeply sorry that New Zealand did not do better by you. I am sorry that you were not believed when you came forward to report your abuse. I am sorry that many bystanders, staff, volunteers and carers turned a blind eye and failed to stop or report abuse. I am sorry that the state's oversight of people in care was so poor. I am sorry that many abusers were not made to face justice, which meant that other people experienced abuse that could have been prevented. I am sorry that the state did not act quickly and boldly enough to put much better protection in place for people in all care locations, and that those acting on behalf of the Crown lost sight of you, the people behind the claims.
Now, this apology follows a public inquiry report from July which found that about 200,000 children and vulnerable adults in state and faith-based care suffered abuse between 1950 and 2019.
It was horrific. It was heartbreaking. It was wrong, and it should never have happened. For many of you, it changed the course of your life, and for that, the government must take responsibility. To all of you, I am sorry.
The government has already completed or begun implementing 28 of the inquiry's recommendations, with a full response expected early next year, according to the Prime Minister. In Thailand, the Iglesia Ni Cristo recently held its Care for Humanity event at the Rayong Child Welfare Protection Center, offering essential supplies to children in need. Representatives from Iglesia Ni Cristo fulfilled requests for slippers and other necessities, bringing smiles to the young recipients. Here's Rawirat Montilla with a full report.
ผ่านมูลนิธิเฟริกอิสกุลมานาโลประเทศไทยคริสตจักรแห่งพระคริสต์ได้ยื่นมือให้ความช่วยเหลือสถานคุ้มครองสวัสดิภาพเด็กจังหวัดระยองการสวมรองเท้าแตะให้ความสะดวกสบายและการปกป้องซึ่งเป็นสิ่งที่หลายคนในปัจจุบันมองข้ามไปกลายเป็นความเคยชินในทางกลับกันรองเท้าถือเป็นความจำเป็นพื้นฐานที่เด็กบางคนยังขาดซึ่งความสะดวกสบายและการปกป้องเหล่านี้เป็นสิ่งที่พวกเขาต้องการอย่างแท้จริงการบริหารของคริสตจักรแห่งพระคริสต์ยังคงสอนให้สมาชิกแสดงออกถึงความห่วงใยต่อผู้ที่ขาดแคลน
We have chosen Rayong Child Welfare Protection Center as the beneficiary of our Care for Humanity for this year 20 and 24. And with God's help, we're able to hand them boxes of various dry goods for cooking, instant noodles, snacks, as well as cleaning materials and personal care products.
เด็กๆร้องเพลงและเต้นรำตามจังหวะของเพลงโปรดของพวกเขาสร้างบรรยากาศที่เต็มไปด้วยเสียงปรบมือและเสียงหัวเราะจากนั้นกล่องสิ่งของถูกมอบอย่างเป็นทางการโดยบาทหลวงวิลเลนเรกาลาโดรัฐมนตรีเขตนอกจากนี้ยังมีการแจกถุงขนมและรองเท้าแตะให้กับเด็กแต่ละคนโดยทุกคนได้แลกเปลี่ยนรอยยิ้มและคำขอบคุณกันในขณะที่เด็กๆสวมรองเท้าแตะใหม่และก้าวไปด้วยความมั่นใจขอให้ความสะดวกสบายและการปกป้องที่พวกเขาได้รับนำทางพวกเขาไปสู่ชีวิตที่เต็มไปด้วยความหวังใหม่และขอให้พวกเขาจดจำเสมอว่ามีคนที่พร้อมจะดูแลมนุษยชาติอยู่เสมอ
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on Net 25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.
This